car, I can lock all my doors, and it's the only way I live in cars. Here in my car, I can only receive. I can listen to you, and it keeps me stable for days in cars. Where the English breaks down, will you visit me please if I open my door in cars? Here in my car, I know I've started to think about leaving tonight alone. Nothing seems right in cars.
Well, hello everyone, and I'm glad I didn't get kicked off the internet for playing a song from a major record label. That was Fear Factory covering Gary Numan's very, very famous Cars, and I thought it was pretty cool that he actually came in studio, helped them with the song, and then appeared in the video and sang on the song as well. Pretty cool. Anyway, so, wait. Catherine says, I went to a German beer garden and now I want to buy a German barmaid outfit. I think I could rock it. Yeah, I know you could rock it. I really, yeah, totally. You should do that. I'm near a bar. I'm at a bar near home right now, trying to stay awake since I woke up way too early. So I'll catch up on the stream later. Oh, all right. Well, have fun at the bar. Yeah, that cover of Cars is really damn good. Sad to say, as much as I like the original and even the updated version Newman did, that one with Fear Factory nails it. I made your day by instantly playing the cover of Cars Newman and Fear Factory did together. Good. Actually, again, I'm kind of pleased I didn't get booted off the internet for putting up a Fear Factory track. But who knows? Maybe I'll do another one later. Just about everything on the Demanufacture album is just amazing. I actually interviewed Dino from Fear Factory. There are multiple versions of Cars. Yeah, well, there's the original that appears on Gary Numan's album, The Pleasure Principle. Then there was a remix that came out after that. And then after that, Newman started doing a live version in the 90s that was way upgraded. I don't even know if I don't know if he ever actually released an official copy of that or a studio copy. I think you could only hear it live. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah. I mean, the thing is, Newman was a real trailblazer, and the stuff that the stuff that he's most famous for, the songs off of Replicas and Pleasure Principle, those both came out in the 70s, late 1970s. So it was 80s new wave before there was 80s new wave, which is pretty impressive. Um, and then as he went into the 80s, unfortunately, his record labels started pressuring him to stop sounding like Gary Newman and start sounding like Prince. And man, that sucked. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of different versions of Cars, although it appears the updated one that he's done for live shows is not available as a studio track, which kind of sucks. Um, he's done a number of his old songs updated as studio tracks that are just amazing. I don't know. Are you guys, first off, people in the audience, are you guys aware of the different phases of Gary Newman, or do you even care? How is the progress on Siege Engine? The progress is good. I mean, sleep is a problem as always, but the progress is very, very good. I feel like I'm drawing near to having the first installment out on Amazon, which I'm happy about. Yeah, it really right now it's the combat scene I'm writing, and once I get that, I've got a bunch of the other things. I think that might be it. After that, I'll be ready to release it. Um, so I'm excited, and I just can't hide the fact that I've finally ironed out some of my world's history. Oh, cool. And Owen Lister finally got to see Top Gun Maverick. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, you haven't watched it yet either. Okay. Yeah, I'll be curious. I need to see that film. You've never even listened to Gary Newman? Oh, everybody. Oh, come on. Come on. Really? Really? Everybody's heard at least Cars. I mean, I don't even think that's his best. That isn't even his best track. That's just his most famous track. But Cars, everybody's heard that track. Now let's see if I get booted off the internet. I'll play that in a minute, because if you haven't heard Gary Newman, that's just pain. Yeah, Gary Newman in the 70s just kind of stumbled upon his style. He had a punk band, the Tubeway Army. He was always very much into sci-fi, and he was at the recording studio one day and saw a synthesizer and just decided to start playing with it. It was an old Moog, and he was just blown away by it. And then he decided, okay, I'll do the next album, but a lot of the parts that were written for guitar, I'll just play them on this thing. And that's where he first started kind of developing his sound. And really Replicas is the one I like better of that era, but everyone prefers Pleasure Principle, which is the one after it, which has the more radio friendly tracks, I guess. Then in the 80s, like I said, his label really pushed him to be more mainstream. They really were trying to push him to sound like Prince, and that killed his career. Yeah, Me was really good. And then in the 90s, he came back. He signed a deal with Cleopatra Records. He had gotten into industrial music, and instead of trying to sound like everybody else, he kind of made it his own. He released an album called Exile, which is just fucking epic. And he's been kind of doing that style ever since. Here. Okay. So it's here. I'll play it. Oh, and if Oh, sorry about that. Well, there you go. There's a clip. That was Cars. You must have heard that. Really, seriously. And just for the fuck of it, hopefully it won't get me booted offline. Let me play something from Exile. I'll have to download it though. Um, I actually have the CD, but I don't know. That would be too much trouble. I'll just see if I can't add something off online. Um, okay, just give me a second. Let's see if this plays correctly. I'm getting commercials right now for McDonald's, no less. Yeah. Okay, let me download this and hopefully, again, YouTube won't be a bitch. The fuck? Sorry, it's kind of being a pain in the ass right now. Okay, grabbing the clip now. We'll have it up in a few minutes. New wave, the post-punk thing that the Brits thing when Brits discovered synths. Kind of, yeah, yeah, and it was Newman kind of led the way on that. I mean, there was also there was some other stuff happening at the time that was kind of going in that direction as it was, but Newman had a lot to do with it, and kind of predated. Yeah, it's weird. Most people think of Cars and Down in the Park and a few of his other tracks as '80s tracks, but they actually were released in the late '70s. Um, Ironically, suddenly getting rich from releasing the song Cars, the first thing he did is go out and buy himself a very expensive sports car. Okay. So I uploaded the hard copy of the paperback edition of Ridiculum last night. It's over 250 pages, and it's waiting to be approved. Hopefully, Amazon won't jerk me around again. What genre is Gary Newman? Well, Newman is first it was kind of post-punk and pre-'80s new wave. Then he got into '80s new wave and then pop music, and then, like you said, in the '90s, he dove more into the industrial side of things. And in a minute, I'm going to play you a track. I mostly listen to '80s rock and heavy metal, so that's probably why I never listened to his music. I'll check out the '80s new wave. Okay, give me a second, Owen. I'm going to pop on headphones for this. Make sure it's the track I want. But what have you guys been up to? Just out of curiosity. I mean, Catherine's getting clouded a beer at a bar right now. Someone's nicked your tent, huh? By the way, I've continued to try and get some of the other anthologies gathered up by your request. It won't. Yeah, don't expect anything immediate, but it'll happen. I'm gonna really try and make the next one the space adventures, like you asked. Not sure if I can, but I will try. But yeah, Kat and I have been gathering up a bunch of stories. Actually, the first one I think we're going to release is probably a horror anthology because we really know that genre quite well. And we've already found a bunch of stories that we'd like to share with you guys that are public domain. Some we were kind of blown away were in the public domain, to be honest with you, like Richard Matheson's Dance of the Dead. Okay, well, it's almost uploaded. Let's see. Waiting for the song to upload. But yeah, the space adventure one is probably going to be called Rockets and Ray Guns, just because it sounds good. And slowly piecing that together. I think we're going to do Mad Scientists and Dangerous Women is going to be, or Dangerous Ladies, who knows. And tell you the truth, I might do a Ridiculum too, because the more I dig, the more hilarious stories I find. I mean, I was kind of shocked at just how many of these old pulp stories are rooted in humor. Okay, Dominion Day. This is his 90s sound. So there you go. I mean, huge change for Gary Newman from going from Cars to that. But really, what it was that once he had freedom to write the music he wanted, that's what he had kind of developed into. It gave you kind of a Crow and Fifth Element vibe. Well, that was shot in the 90s, so it kind of fits, right? But really, I would say that the Exile album, in my opinion, just my opinion, I think what he did is he saw the Prophecy film and wrote an album inspired by it. And I don't know if you guys saw the film The Prophecy with Christopher Walken in it and Viggo Mortensen. Actually, I think it also has the dude who played Casey Jones in it. Yeah, it does. But the Prophecy film was really interesting. It was made by the same guy who wrote and directed the first Highlander film. And it's about a war in heaven between the angels, and humans are just caught in the middle. And the whole Exile album has that kind of vibe to it. But Hoopty Armada, what the? Anyone else own a Hoopty Armada? It's a weird rural cultural thing. Everyone has 2 to 3 cars, so if one goes out, you have one to. No, no. I can't say I do. No. I would say that there are other cars in this neighborhood or other houses, though. Definitely. Vigo Morganson, not Morgenstern. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hail Lobster Unbreaded. The Prophecy trilogy is an interesting arc with Gabriel. Yeah, the problem is that only the first Prophecy was written and directed by one guy, and it was his vision. But the other films really were not connected. Other people wrote those, so I'm kind of I have mixed opinions on it because I have a very strong feeling about just creator keeping control of their ideas. And the Prophecy film was interesting. I've read interviews with the guy who directed it, and he said a lot of it was him coming to terms with its Catholicism, and that realizing that in it all, humans have doubts, and that's just kind of the nature of it. But yeah, it's a kind of an interesting low budget film that really is a whole lot better than it had any business being, considering how little money they had to spend on the whole project. But yeah, the cast is also pretty great. I mean, like I said, the dude who played Casey Jones is in it, Christopher Walken, Aragorn, Virginia Madsen, Amanda Plummer. I mean, just tons of good people. Let's see. I'm looking at the cast now. And Riser Man stands before us. Yeah, Louise, how's it going? But yeah, it was kind of interesting, just the whole evolution of Gary Newman. He's still making music now. It's kind of hit or miss, unfortunately. Some of it just sounds very canned, like it's beginning to all sound like the same song. Where every once in a while, he'll just turn out a real brilliant piece of music. The was it Dead Sun Rising album is just fucking amazing. Although he did do an album that was kind of interesting where he had his 12-year-old daughter sing. So it's got kind of a children's choir or chorus theme going in the background for that album. I think I'll check out Prophecy. Sounds interesting. Plus, it's written and directed by the same guy who gave us freaking Highlander. And the cast sounds awesome, too. Yeah, it's a good film. Hey, JC, what's up? Virginia Madsen, mommy yummy. Yeah, she was quite a looker in her day, wasn't she? One of the best things about Candyman, right? So your goal is to get rid of a lot of stuff. You're selling your rides at cost. Wow. You just trying to simplify your life, Trenton? Is that just too much shit around the house? Figure let's clear the place out. And tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, the print edition of Ridiculum will be ready, and Kat and I will go into full gear in promotion. I mean, I'd promote it right now, but it's Sunday, no one's paying attention. So tomorrow we'll go full steam ahead. They sometimes have Prophecy on Pluto TV. Yeah, the guy who did Prophecy is kind of an interesting person. Let me. let me look him up on IMDb. I want to make sure. It's Gregory Wyden is his name. And he is known here. What? Oh my God, he wrote Backdraft? Well, he got paid for it. But yeah, he did the Prophecy film. He did Highlander. And I was under the impression he had also made Beastmaster, but it does not say so, so maybe not. But anyway, yeah, well worth checking out. And whatever you do, don't see Highlander 2. Not unless you really want your brain to hurt. You know, as the saying is, there should have only been one. Oh, the director of Phantasm did Beastmaster. Okay, well, he's another good director. And Phantasm is a great film. Another one of those amazing low-budget films that was very ambitious and achieved its goal for the most part. Why did Highlander 2 go cyberpunk? Because the studio were morons and they did a bad job of it. The Quickening, yeah. Why they decided to go for a very low-budget, lo-fi cyberpunk setting for the Highlander made no damn sense. I mean, Highlander was essentially urban fantasy before there was urban fantasy, before it had been taken over by romance. You know, you have these Eternals living forever, you know, carrying on this millennium-old battle among humanity that, you know, just people one day realize they're Highlander or they're immortals, and they're fighting it out over the centuries. Oh, he also directed The Shadow. You know, I should get Kat on the air to talk about The Shadow sometimes. She has very, very mixed opinions about that film. Because on the one end, it feels like it had one script and then studio interfere. Sure. Kat's going to come in. So I will withhold comment.
What are we talking about?
Tits.
Oh,
Of course,
okay.
of course, you need to come in here. We're talking about. No, actually, we're
Well,
talking.
I know a lot about those. I have 2 of them.
Yes, you do, and I touch them a lot.
Yes.
We were talking about the Shadow film, and I was saying that it felt like 2 movies.
Yeah, it really. Well, it's not that it feels like 2 movies. It feels like they were very confused as to what audience they were trying to appeal to. It has some 90s isms of at some point the
Girls can do it too.
No, it's not girls can do it too. It's that the girl will do something to totally trip up the guy, and suddenly, you know, the suave debonair hero is falling flat on his face because the girl does something that he's not expecting. And, you know, that can work. It's just, it was done in a very 90s way. And what I mean by that is the character of Margot Lane is definitely his Girl Friday. She has all of the tropes of being a
Hoxian woman.
Thank you. That was the term I was looking for. You know, she's smart. She can take care of herself. She doesn't mind putting herself in the line of fire if it's for the greater good. She's always there to pull Lamont out of the fire if he fucks up. You know, she's there by his side, not a sidekick, but definitely a partner. And she can do things that he can't. And it's made very clear that she'll go in and do things and get information because she can go places that only a woman can and a man can't, even though the shadow can, cloud men's minds and for all intents and purposes be invisible, depending on what era of the shadow you're listening to or reading. But again, she's a partner. They made her a vapid airhead.
Really?
Yeah, in the movie. She's a total vapid airhead. And
which is a shame because that actress is very, very good.
yeah, but no, she plays it as a total airhead, or at least somebody who, yes, intelligent but completely unaware. And that's not Margot. So, and that was a very 90s thing. That was very characteristic of the 90s to do that to heroines. And I think it was so that they weren't intimidating to female audiences. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah, I legitimately think it was so that they wouldn't be intimidating to female audiences. To look at it from a different perspective, Selena Kyle in Tim Burton's Batman Returns, she starts off as...
But that's perfect.
Yeah.
That worked.
That totally worked. She was a believable, not a ditz, but just somebody who really did not have her life together. And then she says, fuck it, and takes life by the balls. That was beautiful.
Well, that, and she was like the Catwoman that was portrayed in Burton's Batman was absolutely, it was pure Jungian psychology.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was her shadow come out. And one thing that really impressed me rewatching the Batman films again recently was that Burton's two Batman films are very, very psychological and very operate on Jungian symbolism throughout. And there's like subliminals and foreshadowing throughout both films that are just brilliantly done.
Yeah.
So yeah, that worked in was it Batman Returns?
Batman Returns, yeah. No, the problem with the shadow is that Margot is you think she's going to be the damsel in distress, and then they shoehorn this whole thing of Lamont can't cloud her mind. His tricks don't work on her for whatever reason, for reasons. And she instantly is like, well, this is great. I'll be your partner now. It's like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? You two have never met before. What the hell? So
we're married now.
Yeah, that whole coupling just didn't make any sense the way it happened. It really should have been, well, more like the stories, which is just throw the 90s were really big into, well, we got to tell the audience the genesis. We got to have the audiences understand where this person started from. It's like, no, you don't. Just throw us to the wolves. These two people are already friends. They're already working together, and the shadow's already doing his thing. You don't have to have them meet for the first time. It was really unorganic. The parts that I loved was dealing with the villain. I thought that, I'm like, okay, here was script A. This was what the original script was, and that's the current descendant of Genghis Khan deciding he's going to follow in his ancestors' footsteps. He's also, trained at the same temple that Lamont did. I loved all that. I'm like, okay, this was script A, and then the other shit is script B. It's like, well, we have to make this for a female audience. I'm like, no, you don't. I'm sorry, you just put a hot guy on the screen and say, this is your hero, and the girls will come. I mean, in multiple ways of the phrase.
So I found out something.
Yeah.
The dude who wrote Highlander and Prophecy
wrote
Backdraft. The ultimate 90s film.
Oh,
That film was the ultimate 90s action movie that wanted to be everything film.
it's the 90s action romance. It is, guys, here's an action film that you can bring your girlfriend to and she won't be bored. That was Backdraft. And that was actually the pitch. That was the whole way Backdraft was structured. It was structured in, this is the action film that you can bring your girlfriend to on a date.
Yeah. And it's safe for the kids.
That's debatable.
Okay.
It was mainly, we know guys love action films. Why aren't they going? Because their girlfriends hate it.
Well, that was also in the 90s. They were trying to be sensitive. That was when, what was it? The Godzilla film. You couldn't shoot the little baby Godzillas.
Yeah, you couldn't shoot.
They're running around with MP5s and never use them.
Yeah, they were freaking, they might as well have been velociraptors chasing after them and they couldn't shoot them.
Yeah, that was when they really were like wussing out on action films.
Well, no, and you forget the scene in that film, in that awful, that awful not Godzilla film where Notzilla looks down and sees a crushed baby, and full on there's a tear in its eyes as it's mourning the loss of this little baby, and then it goes into mommy rage and starts rampaging. Yeah, that was in there.
No.
That 90s films brought us a lot, but
yeah, it was kind of weird. After the 80s, where it was just nonstop hits, the 90s, it was so confused, and Hollywood wanted to be so fucking safe.
Well, they wanted to be safe. They also, that was really when they were trying way too hard to be something for everyone. And it's like, you can't be something for everyone. You can't be a kid's film and Silence of the Lambs. You can't.
Yeah.
And yet they tried.
But then, meanwhile, you had the indie side of things, like Tarantino, who's just violent as hell.
Yeah, and they're like, wait a minute, this guy is totally, knocking us out of the box offices. What the fuck? It's like, yeah, because he's delivering actual entertainment. He's bringing what the people want.
Do you want to answer this one?
90 Shadow sounds like a better version of Batman Begins. No.
But no, but I will agree the origin, that is not a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
That is because Bob Kane was a thorough and complete plagiarist.
Mm-hmm.
The guy gets so much credit for creating that guy, all he did was steal from pulp writers.
Bob Kane and the other creator. Right down to the fact that there are side-by-side comparisons of Batman comics and Shadow comics that are panel for panel, angle for angle, almost traced over, plus dialogue exactly the same. And it's not just a one-off here. No, there's multiple issues where it's just full on, ripped straight from the Shadow
and the Bat.
And it's just really those two. Nowadays, those two would have been sued into oblivion. But
the thing is, and this one really pisses me off,
mm-hmm.
is you bring that up. You bring up Kane, Bob Kane being a complete plagiarist,
mm-hmm.
and you bring up Siegel and
Schuster.
Was it Schuster?
It was Schuster.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They fucking plagiarized Superman.
Yeah.
From the pulps.
Yes.
From a story called Superman, who had a Fortress of Solitude in the North.
Yes.
Or in the, was it the North Pole or the South Pole? I forget.
North.
And you keep going. You bring these things up, and you must be touching a raw nerve, because when you start bringing up how many of these early comics creators that, they're so special, and you point out, no, they robbed pulp writers blind.
Mm-hmm.
When they start making cries of racism, you've touched a nerve.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, totally.
And that is usually the response you'll get if you start bringing that up too much. Is it is racist.
And Owen brings up a good point. Razor Fist did a wonderful episode on exactly this. So, JC, I mean, Bob Kane was like 17 when he made Batman. All 17-year-olds know how to do his fanfic.
And Dark City was fucking awesome.
Oh,
that was
City's
a great
amazing.
film. But that was done by Alex Proyas, who also did The Crow. He was a real up and comer, and then I don't know, he just kind of petered out.
Did he stop doing things after that?
No, he did that iRobot movie that would have been good if it weren't for Will Smith.
Oh no, I disagree.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Oh, you don't watch it as an Asimov film. You just watch it as its own movie.
I disagree with a lot of the things in that film, right down to I don't know. I am so sick and tired of we made a robot, it's evil, or we made a robot, we think it's evil. Oh no, it's actually good. It's the Frankenstein plot has been done to fucking death. I mean, unless you're gonna put some interesting spin on it, like Megan, is like, then don't bother.
Watch. Essentially, Dark City is like the Matrix for smart people. And it came first.
And it did come first.
And the Matrix even used some of its sets.
Yep.
Just like they reused sets from The Crow.
Yep.
That Proyas also did The Knowing, which I don't like those kind of films, so no opinion. But yeah, let's see what he's been up to. Let's see if he's done anything else.
Oh no, it's just easy to go, oh well, we've made all of the robots just suddenly decided to go evil except for the one robot. Like, I've actually read iRobot. There are stories in there you could make a film about. Honestly, Little Lost Robot would make an amazing psychological thriller. The problem is that it would be a psychological thriller. It would be like Silence of the Lambs. It wouldn't be, nonstop action, CG, wank fest.
Okay, let's see what Proyas has been up to. Not a lot. He did a movie short in 2022. He's doing movie shorts. That's not a good sign.
Well, no. It could be, it's like, it's his money. He can do what he wants with it.
Spent time doing documentaries and videos for bands. And this is depressing, yeah. He hasn't really done anything of note. Fuck Hollywood.
Fuck Hollywood.
He did a documentary on Fad Gadget in 2006 and a documentary on In Excess in 2004. Oh, no, good for him.
No, In Excess.
He did Gods of Egypt, apparently. I
vaguely remember when this came out. It came and it went, and that's okay.
Well, the only reason I remember Gods of Egypt is everyone was complaining, why aren't they black? And it's because they're Egyptians.
Yeah.
That's why they're not black, because they're Egyptians, you fucked hard.
Actually, the guy who played Imhotep in The Mummy was perfect.
Yeah, he was, actually.
And my fucking God, the woman who played Anaxunamun.
Yeah, he's just been doing shorts.
Horrible. That Rami Malek, he's literally Egyptian.
Yeah. So Wolf says that it was insane and he enjoyed it. So maybe it's an enjoyable film.
Oh, okay. I heard bad things about it at the time, but then again, Hollywood sucks.
All the bad things I heard was they are black. Egyptians are black. You ever fucking seen an Egyptian? I have seen Egyptians paler than me, okay?
Yeah. So have I, actually.
I've seen Egyptians almost as pale as you.
Yeah, so have I, actually. One of the channels I used to watch, Nerdy Crafter, she and her sister are both Egyptian, and her sister, my God, I've seen paper that's whiter, that's not as white as her,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just really fucking annoying.
Mm-hmm.
That whole "we was Kangs" has gotta stop.
Mm-hmm. That's actually why that gets me on a rant. I will pare it down. What they've done to Kang the Conqueror.
Kang.
I mean, his name is Kang the Conqueror. Yes, okay, but and the actor who's playing him is actually absolutely perfect. I wouldn't change that. But they made him a fucking Kang. And like, God damn it, really? Why do that?
Okay, I gotta do it.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Why isn't he blue?
Oh, actually, that's a mask. The blue is a mask.
Oh, it really is a mask in the comics?
Yeah, it really is a mask.
Well, you know more about him than I do.
Yeah, the blue and purple headgear is actually a mask. He's not actually blue. He chose that for reasons I don't know why. And though he's not actually, black in the comic, that's okay. It's all about presence. And this actor, I don't know who he is, he has the presence and he has the attitude. And so I'm fine with that. It's just they made him a Kang. Just, God damn it. Just no.
Yeah, I'm looking at these pictures.
What, the I just smelled something look on his face there?
Yeah. So what does he look like under the mask then?
You want me to go get the book? He's a white dude. He's a white dude with brown hair and a beard and mustache. Nondescript. Same with his son, although his son is a redhead.
Oh, so they got rid of the ginger. Is that what you're telling me?
His son? Yeah, his son, the Crimson Centurion.
I don't know. It's a funny name.
It is. It is a funny name.
We should start calling the Mad Ginger that. Hey, Kronk, you're the Crimson Centurion.
There you go.
So,
But Kang's a white dude. And his son is a redhead.
So what got you to be such a Kang fan?
I legitimately love time travel stories that aren't stupid.
Well, that's kind of fair, right?
Well, time travel is just one of those things where if you get your logic wrong just ever so slightly, the entire thing unravels and it becomes really fucking dumb very quickly. And so when I come across time travel stories that actually make sense, where they've thought about it, or there may be leaps in logic, but they dance around them in an artistic way, in a way that I can go, just don't think about it, just enjoy the story, don't think about it, then I am all about that. And I also have it is a huge turn on for me to see alpha males who are conquerors who can go in there and put their dick on the table and say, yeah, mine's bigger. What are you going to do about it? And I find that incredibly fucking hot. And even if they're arrogant to the point of it's their downfall, if they stand by that arrogancy, they don't pussy out, it's still fucking hot. like I have come to really, really like Namor for that reason. Same with Vegeta. And you guys have heard me go on rants about Kane from Legacy of Kane. He is my platinum god, man. So I am all about that shit. And Kang the Conqueror is in that category.
So he's on the list.
He's on the list, yes, very much so.
So that's why you were so pissed that they did him wrong.
Yes, I knew they were going to, and it was one of those things where I was so pissed when I did see what they did. And here's the thing, it's exactly what I said, and that is the actor's perfect. He has the attitude. The guy is wonderful. It's what they're doing to the story. And it pisses me off because I know I'm not an aficionado. I don't know all the stories, but I know enough of the stories to go, there's enough material out there to do this character justice. And instead you're fucking him up the ass.
Well, apparently there are multiple versions. There are so many different Kangs.
Well, yeah, and that's actually that's been made a point of a couple of times. Right down to he has two different names. He's Kang and he's Immortus. I think it's Immortus.
Imodium AD?
Or is it Immortus? Immortus, that's what it is.
Imodium AD?
And Immortus is actually literally a pharaoh from the stars.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hell for this one.
No, that's fine. You can go to hell for that. That's what they've done to him. It's just no why. Like, I hate you fucks. I really do. And I hated it so much. I immediately like ran out. I'm like, okay, what story do I not own? I'm buying this one. Because, and that's what I'm currently reading right now. Because just
it's written by Busick. You want someone with an encyclopedic knowledge of MCU.
No. Okay. You want to know what I'm talking about when I say the guy who's going to put his dick on the table and say, what are you going to do about it? This is Kang. Kang shows up, does nothing. He just makes it very clear that his ship is floating above Earth. He sends his son down as his envoy, who goes to the UN and says, what up, bitches? My dad has something to say.
Wolf approves.
Yeah. He says, what up, bitches? My dad has something to say. He does not, Crimson Centurion does nothing other than show up and say, you all had better listen. The UN flips out and tries to kill him. They send the Avengers after him, who try to, subdue him and take him into custody, and he kicks all of their asses. Then Kang shows up and, ceases that fight and says, look, I have done nothing. I just showed up. You attacked my son. You attacked my people unprovoked, and all I wanted to do was talk. So I'm going to teach you a lesson. And he uses his ship's weapon to blow up the UN, but saves everybody. So it's just the building's dead. I mean, the building destroyed. All the people are fine. And he goes, okay, now that we've, taken care of that, I travel time. I've seen at least 50, if not more, ways your planet is going to be dead in the next 100 years. So I'm going to save it by conquering it. And this is exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to attack Europe first, starting with France, because they're pussies. And then I'm going to move over here, and then I'm going to do this, and then I will be the ruler of your planet within this amount of time. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, and you can try to stop me all you want. Have fun. Bye. And the genius about that was by him showing up and saying, oh, by the way, those who want a piece of the action, who want part of the earth after I've conquered it, you can throw in anytime you want. And so he just sits up there and looks down from his orbital ship while the earth fights itself. And does all the fighting for him. Just the entire earth just fights each other for who's actually going to be in control of the planet before his forces even show up.
That's clever.
Yeah, and his son is like, come on, Dad. When are we going to go down and fight? It's like, no. Just watch the ants for a while. We're just going to sit up here. Why waste our forces when they're doing it for us? And it's like, fuck yeah, that's how you do it. That's fucking how you do it. That's why I love that character. It's like, no, I'm gonna let them fight. It's enough that I showed up. They're shitting bricks that I blew up one of their buildings without doing a thing. We've done nothing so far. We're just gonna sit back and watch.
Okay, quick change of subject.
Okay.
This isn't a joke.
Sombrero. Was this from G Gundam?
Yeah, this is really.
That's from G Gundam.
This is the Mexican. The Mexican Gundam is called Tequila Gundam, and there are guns in his sombrero.
Well, have you seen the Gundams from G Gundam?
Some of them, yeah. We were talking about it the other night about the ones from what the Dutch Gundam is literally a windmill.
Yep. Although my favorite is still the Gundam that has a Gundam-sized chariot with a Gundam horse. And then there's the Gundam that is just a giant Gundam head with a tiny Gundam head on top of it. I think it has arms and legs too, but it's mainly a giant head with a smaller head. G Gundam is also the one that has.
Oh, wait. So the American Gundam is a football player?
Yep. G Gundam's also where I believe Shining Gundam came from.
Yeah.
That's Shining Gundam is Sailor Gundam.
Oh, and here's the Texas one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gun with. Okay, yeah, it's made of 6 guns. I see. And it's wearing a cowboy hat.
No, and it has spurs. Don't forget it has spurs.
And it has spurs, yes.
It has spurs. Yes.
I'm at a loss here.
G Gundam's like insane.
So, does Detroit have a Gundam then?
I don't know. There's the Bull Gundam. Yeah,
it's
that
just
thing.
A great big bullhead.
Yep.
Or how about the one from San Francisco? Is it pink?
Well, there's the shark one. There you go. There's all the weird ass ones.
But they're all weird. I don't think there's a single Gundam in the series that isn't weird.
How about the Viking one? Or the shark one?
The one, yeah.
Or the Zulu one? Gundam Zulu?
This is baffling. I mean, apparently, a lot of our listeners like this show.
Well,
I've never seen it.
G Gundam's great because it's basically like Robo-Jocks.
Really?
Yeah, and the battles are in lieu of war.
Is there a Canadian one? Oh, the Canadian one's a lumberjack. Okay, I would have figured a hockey player. Yay! Our Gundam's going to be really polite to you.
Well, I don't know.
Okay. What's the Saudi Arabian one?
Well, it depends on which series you're looking at.
Oh, for G Gundam.
For G Gundam? That I don't know. I just know there's Shining Gundam there.
This one?
No. That one. See, that's Sailor Gundam.
That's actually canon?
Yes, Sailor Gundam's canon.
Oh,
yep, there you go.
Oh my god. I thought that was just a gag.
Nope, it's part of G Gundam.
Okay. I guess.
Oh, it's called Noble Gundam. I thought it was called Shining Gundam.
Noble Gundam?
Yeah.
I don't know. The Master Gundam here is pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Gundam Spiegel. I
Shouldn't
think
that be Krieger?
Yeah. Actually, I think there should be a great big swastika on its chest.
Well,
the audience can't see any of this.
Well, you know what Death Scythe looks like, right? Death Scythe has a Nazi helmet.
Yeah, it's the German Darth Vader helmet on.
Yeah, that's why I like Death Scythe Hell, because it has the Darth Vader helmet.
We'll just share it. Oh, here it is. The Egyptian Gundam.
Pharaoh Gundam.
Well, that didn't help.
A little more over the top than Sandrock. He actually looks more like Inkaris from Deathstalkers.
All right. Well, I think we're getting a little too distracted at this.
Yeah, Dragon Gundam looks exactly like Shenlong from I'm sorry, Nataku from Wing.
I still think San Francisco needs a Gundam. Like this, with a great big rainbow, but pink.
There you go.
The Drag Queen Gundam. All right. Well, should we call it an afternoon?
Totally up to you. I still have a cage to clean. My girls are into Sailor Moon now. Glad to hear you put her as a Gen X hero. Sailor Moon is amazing. It actually, she did wonders for me as a kid. So if your daughters are watching her, that's great. You know, Jupiter was totally my spirit animal as a kid.
Well, you know, the thing is Sailor Moon hit in what, 92, 93?
Mm-hmm.
And it really kind of blows me away that no one seems to realize that of all the superheroes to be created from the last 60 years,
Mm-hmm.
Sailor Moon has been the most influential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she has.
She has had the most impact on the genre. She's had global impact in multiple, you know, across the world. She's recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
And the character has endured. I mean, you can say without exaggeration, you can place her up there with Superman and Batman as far as being recognizable.
Yes.
And as being an inspirational character.
Mm-hmm.
And the show's good. And yeah, it was the thing I had noticed was as I got older in college, I was just like all these girls I'd meet, and it's like they were obsessed with Sailor Moon. And I was like, that's when it really began to hit me. This character is the most influential superhero to come about in decades.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing that's come from Marvel or DC. It's not even any of the Image titles. The most far-reaching would be Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Even more than Goku. Sorry, guys. Of course, Goku's kind of a moron. All right. Wait, what does Kat think about Agatha Christie revive? Oh, God, really?
Oh.
Son of a bitch.
Well, wait, are you talking the books or are you talking the movies with Kenneth Branagh? Because there is a difference there. Basically, any books being revised for modern audiences need to be thrown on the pyre. You know, just fuck that shit.
What does that mean, modern audiences? What does it mean? That they need a simpler writing style? That they're too sensitive to actually read a real book?
No, it's that it's not delivering a pinko kami message.
Modern audiences.
Yeah. I hate that shit. I hate that shit, you know, to fucking death. You know, God damn it. Augustus Gloop is fat.
Yeah.
You know, deal with it. The Oompa Loompas are pygmies from a impoverished country where now at least they have food on the table, a roof over their head. They're not going to get eaten by monsters, and they get all the cocaine they could want.
But yeah, fuck the term modern sensibilities, modern audiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's bullshit. It's censorship.
Mm-hmm.
It is fucking censorship. That is all it is. And it's even worse it's done under the justification that, Gen Z can't handle real literature.
Well,
that we have to protect them from real literature and real media, that they have to be upgraded for modern sensibilities so no feelings are hurt.
I'm going to say something that might sound awful, and I hope it comes across the way I intend it. And that was when I was in high school, I had teachers who decided that we were reading too many books from, the Western, canon. This was in high school, this was in college. And so they were going to introduce us to authors from other countries. That I am not opposed to. Actually, I loved that idea. What pissed me off was the authors that they chose were awful. And what I mean by that is the books were god fucking awful to read. And it's like, if this is your attempt to introduce us to authors from other countries, specifically countries that aren't white, try fucking harder.
Yeah.
And, I've gotten into debates with people on some of them, and you know what? That's fine. You don't have to agree with me. Again, I'm not opposed to reading stories from authors from other countries. It was their choices, and their choices were Things Fall Apart. I don't remember who the author is. I just know that it came from, I think, Ethiopia or some other African country. And it was one of those things where it was so boring, I didn't retain a single word of it. And I was pissed because I had to buy the book out of my own pocket because the school did not sanction us reading it, but the teacher required us to read it, so we had to buy them. And again, this is high school, this isn't college. The other one was Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Now, I've watched movies based on his books and really enjoyed the movies. I hated 100 Years of Solitude reading it. Reading that book was like, driving bamboo under my fingernails. I hated it so fucking much. And like, so pick better books to introduce us to other countries, god damn it.
The thing is, when the commies burned books, they burned literature.
Mhm.
They burned history. They wanted the past to disappear. They burned religion and mythology. You know what? That makes them worse than the Nazis, in my opinion. Because you know what the Nazis burned?
Smut porn.
Porn. They burned porn and communist theory.
Yes.
Yeah.
They weren't burning Shakespeare.
And they were burning all the weird sexual studies that were going on, like on in the universities.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they were going out and burning Shakespeare.
No.
That's what commies did.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, the commies are far worse than the Nazis. And that, if you know anyone who thinks that Che was swell, punch them in the face. If you see any idiot who wears a Che shirt, they're a fucking moron.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when I was in college, they kept trying to force the new canon on us.
Mm-hmm.
And you always had, and I'm going to say, I always had the gays bitching and pissing and moaning. Oh, well, gay literature is not read. Nobody, why isn't it included? High schools don't read gay literature. Well,
it's full of porn.
There wasn't a damn thing in the gay canon that didn't include dick sucking, ass fucking.
Like, guys, I read Oscar Wilde.
It was like,
why don't you claim him?
Essentially, gay lit meant, well, there's gonna be dudes fucking, or you're going to see some women lick pussies.
Yeah.
In the most unromantic way possible.
And with detail. It's not just the door, the bedroom door closes, the next morning they're having breakfast,
So yeah, I mean, the problem is the gay activists like GLAAD didn't like the gay authors who were already in the Western canon.
And like Oscar Wilde.
Yeah, they didn't want that. They wanted the books they chose, which were all porn.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they're in our schools, what are they teaching?
Yeah.
Porn. Not really making a great argument, is it?
No.
It basically, ever since, I'd say 2012, the gay community has gone from being, just leave us alone, let us live, to proving the conservatives in the 90s right about everything.
Well, once they got gay marriage, all the smart ones,
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
We're done. We got what we wanted.
Yeah.
We're done. Yeah.
We're normal people now. It's great.
And yeah, then the lunatics were the only ones left.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
all right. Well, I need to get some lunch, so let's call it an afternoon. So do yourself a favor. Kick a commie.
kick a commie.
And don't read anything that's for modern audiences.
No.
In fact, that's the kind of book burning I support. Revisionist history.
Well, yeah. Burn the revisions because
Yeah.
you're not burning the actual text.
That's not book burning.
No.
That's cleaning up vandalization.
Exactly.
Burning a book that has been revised for modern audiences is the equivalent of, say, cleaning graffiti off the Parthenon.
Yes, it is. Yeah, fuck that shit.
All right. It's funny when you meet gay folk and they hate that community. Yeah, because they do. They're normal people who are just gay. They're just human beings who happen to be gay.
Mm-hmm.
Are like the rest of us. They don't like this shit. These so-called community aren't gay. They're fucking perverts. They're a bunch of degenerate assholes who need to basically well, okay, I'll stop there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get in trouble.
You don't like them. No, sir, I don't like it.
The 7 plagues would be quite fitting.
There you go. Just the 7? What about the last 3?
Or how about a meat grinder? Wood chipper is quite appropriate.
Go Fargo on their ass.
Yeah. I think any of those degenerates who are trying to fuck up kids, the wood chipper's just fine. Head first. No, legs first.
Legs first. What is it? That industrial paper shredder?
Yeah, exactly. Industrial plastic shredder.
Yeah.
All right.
Okie dokie. Good night, everybody.